Hi guys, Dane here, fresh from a run, of course, squeezing this in before work. Video number 6. Today I wanted to talk about how there are different types of Achilles tendon injuries. But first I wanted to start off with just going through a bit of research I did about 2 months ago online. So I was looking at what kind of educational materials out there online about how to get over Achilles tendon injuries, and there was this one book that really stood out on Amazon, and it stood out because it was quite simple, easy to read, 12 pages, and it had about 100 comments under it. So I was reading through the readers' comments, and about 50% of them were praising the book, saying, "Oh, it was an amazing book. After 12 weeks of just doing one strength exercises, my Achilles tendon pain went away." And then the other 50% were downright very upset, saying, this book, don't get it, don't purchase it. It made my tendon pain worse. It wasn't worth the money. So I found this book really interesting. It only described one strength exercise, and I think that's what we all need to understand when we do have an Achilles tendon injury, is that every single individual Achilles tendon pain can be slightly different than the person next to you. So say you're out for a run and then your mate says, "Oh, I've had an Achilles tendon pain, it took me this long, this is what helped." It might work, but then it might not. So what I want to sort of explain today and go through is the different type of tendon injuries that you can get, because I think this is important because it underpins what you do from a strength side of things going forward. And if you are more targeted with your strength exercises and more appreciative of the route that you have to take and the progressions, then you're more likely to have success with a strength program rather than feel like it flares it up. Okay, so probably the primary difference in terms of tendinopathy that everyone needs to understand is that sometimes you can get an insertional tendinopathy and sometimes you can get a mid-portion tendinopathy. And how are they different? So insertional tendinopathy is when the Achilles tendon is sore right at the bone, so the base of where it inserts. And then the mid-portion is when it's sore about 2-3 centimeters above the insertion. Now, why is that important to differentiate? Because both tendinopathies recover at different rates. So the insertional ones tend to be a little bit longer, like they can be anywhere from 3 to 6 months if handled quite well and managed well from the start and respected. And then mid-portion tendinopathies I've often seen, if you handle them well from the start, you can get over them in 8 weeks. So that's important because then you know the difference in timeline, and then you know that you should be expecting different results. The other big difference between the two is the insertional ones, when it's sore right down at the base, they don't like a certain type of strength exercise when you drop over the edge of a step. So you really go into that deep sort of dorsiflexion stretch when you're trying to strengthen it. So often exercises that have that movement in it are avoided. So there are two big differences, but then often on scan you'll see that there's some bursitis. So a bursa is a pillow, and the pillow is often situated down near your heel to reduce friction between your skin and the tendon, or your tendon and the bone, heel bone. And so these are sort of lubricants, soft pillows, shock absorbers to stop rubbing and friction, but sometimes they can get inflamed and you can have a bit of bursitis on scan. But the key thing with this and another thing called paratenosis, so the paratendon is a sheath around the tendon. Sometimes that can get inflamed as well down near the Achilles. The key things with those two structures is often they're associated with a tendinopathy too. I suppose the important thing is there are a few things you can do management-wise if both those structures are also sore or swollen as well. So there are a few structures to appreciate. The other thing that I wanted everyone to understand is it's important to know that the time that you've had the tendinopathy is also important when choosing strength exercises. So if you've only just got the tendinopathy and the Achilles pain, then it's quite acute, it's quite angry, it's quite inflamed. Generally the exercises are a bit more tame. If you've had the injury for 6 to 9 months and you've really struggled with it, then the exercises might actually be a bit stronger and heavier, depending on how you're going. But that's quite a general statement. I suppose what I wanted to say there is that the time that you've had the injury, so whether it's in the reactive sort of early stage, it's in the disrepair stage, or the degenerative stage, also it needs to be appreciated when you're trying to work out what strength exercises you should be doing, and will help your tendon keep adapting and getting stronger, and keep getting that donut of good healthy tissue around it. What's the most appropriate strength exercise that's not going to stir it up, but it's actually going to progress it and make the tissue better at tolerating load again long term. All right, so in the next few days I'll be back and start talking about some strength exercises. But I think before we did that, in light of that online material that I saw on Amazon, you need to appreciate that every tendon injury down in the Achilles region is different, and we need to work out where we sit on that continuum of pathology, and then that's going to help determine what strength exercises we should do. Alright, that's enough from me. I'll talk soon. Bye.